Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Moh Asroni. Today I will present my essay for the Economic and Business Landscape Analysis class with the title The Policy, Finance and Economics of Indonesia's Coal Industry. Now we enter section 1, Introduction to Indonesia's Coal Industry. This slide provides an overview of Indonesia's coal industry, highlighting its strengths and challenges in the current global and domestic landscape. The strength, number one, we are the third largest producers in the world. Indonesia ranks as the third largest coal producer globally after China and India, making it a key player in the global energy market. Number two, abundant coal reserve with around 30 billion tons of coal reserves, ensuring a long-term supply for both domestic and international markets. Number three, the coal sector significantly contributes around 12% of GDP Indonesia, supporting economic growth and job creation. And number four, with the strong export market, around 60 to 75% of total coal production is exported, primarily to China, India, and Japan, making Indonesia a critical supplier to global markets. And then competitive production costs. Indonesia benefit from the relatively low coal extraction and production costs, making it coal more competitive in the international market. And then we also facing the challenges. Number one is global energy transition to green energy. Many countries are shifting towards renewable energy sources like solar and wind power, reducing their reliance on coal. And number two, reducing coal dependency to meet net zero emission by 2060. The Indonesian government has set a target to achieve net zero emission by 2060, which will require a gradual reduction in coal usage. And then domestic policies such as Domestic Market Obligation (DMO), and then reference coal price (HPA), and foreign exchange proceeds for natural resources (DHA) regulation impose constraints on the industry. And then global coal demand may stagnate. Forecasts from the International Energy Agency indicates that global coal consumption may stagnate or grow slowly in the future, which could impact Indonesia's coal export revenue. The chart illustrates global coal consumption trends from 2002 to 2027, as predicted by International Energy Agency. The red circle highlights projected trends showing a slower growth rate or stagnation in global coal demand in 2024 to 2027, emphasizing the need for Indonesia to prepare for potential declines in coal exports. In the next session, we will discuss about government policies and its impact on Indonesia's coal industry, financial aspect, microeconomics, and then recommendation and conclusion. Now we move to section 2, the government policy and its impact. The first government policy is the Minerva Law number 3 of 2020 on the coal mining industry in Indonesia. The key provisions of the law is number one, extension of coal mining business license, izin usaha pertambangan and izin usaha pertambangan khusus to 10 years, providing long-term operational security. Higher royalty payments to the government, ensuring increased state revenue. And then mandatory downstream processing, requiring companies to invest in coal gasification and smelter. And then stronger environmental and reclamation regulations, making companies more accountable for sustainability. We have two sides of impact. Number one is impact for government, higher state revenue from increased royalty payments. And then the impact is encourages domestic industry growth by pushing for downstream processing. and then provide stronger environmental oversight to ensure sustainable mining. And the last is gives the government more control over mining operations to align with national policies. On the other hand, the impacts on the producer are: number one, long-term investment security due to extended mining permits, and then reduced net profit as companies pay higher royalties to the government, and then requires large investment in coal gasification and smelters to comply with new regulations. And then the last, stricter environmental possibilities increasing compliance costs. Overall, this law aims to balance economic benefits, industrial development, and environmental sustainability within Indonesia's coal sector. And then the policy number 2 is domestic market obligation DMO policy, which regulates the allocation of coal production for domestic use and its impact on both the government and coal producers. The key aspect is the coal producers must allocate at least 25% of their production for domestic use. This policy ensures that the PLN, the state electricity company, and local industries have a stable coal supply to generate affordable electricity for the country. And then fixed selling price of 70 USD per tons for PLN. The government sets a fixed price for coal supply to PLN to maintain affordable electricity prices. This price is much lower than the global market rates, affecting coal producers' profit margin. Also, there is two sides of impact. The first is impact on the government. Number one, ensures a national energy security. By securing domestic coal supply, Indonesia can avoid energy shortages and keep electricity prices stable. Number two, control inflation and economic stability. The fixed price helps prevent sudden increase in electricity costs, stabilizing inflation and economic condition. And then the last, reduce state revenue from royalties. Because part of the coal must be sold at the below market prices, government revenue from royalties and export decreases. And then on the other side, impact on coal producers. There are four impacts. Number one is low profit margin. Selling at fixed price at 70 USD per tons reduces potential profits, especially when global coal prices are high. And then number two, export ban and fines for failing to meet DMO. Companies that fail to meet DMO quotas may face export ban or fines affecting their global sales. Number three, market uncertainty and financial planning challenges. Since coal price fluctuates, uncertainty in revenues and profits makes long-term business planning difficult. And then the last, encourage diversification and efficiency to add value. To mitigate losses, companies are shifting towards coal gasification, renewable energy investment, and operational efficiency to create added value. The DMO policy benefits Indonesia by ensuring energy security and economic stability, but it will pose challenges for coal producers as they must sell at lower fixed price and face market restrictions. This forces the industry to focus on efficiency, diversification, and investment in new energy solution. And then the next policy is the government regulation, peraturan pemerintah number 26 of 2022, which introduced a progressive royalty system for the coal industry. The key aspect, there are two. Royalty are now based on reference coal prices, we call it HBA, harga batubara acuan, and caloric value. Unlike the old system where royalties were fixed, royalties now increase as coal prices rise. The table on the slide shows that royalty rates based on caloric value and market prices. And then it will encourage coal downstream industry. The regulation offers royalty incentive for coal use in the downstream processes like coal gasification and coal processing. This aims to promote the development of the value-added coal products rather than exporting raw coal. Also, there are two impacts. Number one is impacts on the coal producers. There are three. Number one is higher financial burden from progressive royalties. When coal prices rise, producers must pay higher royalties, increasing their overall production costs. This reduces profit margin, especially when price fluctuates. Number two, incentives for downstream investment. Companies that invest in coal gasification and processing benefit from reduced or zero royalty obligation. This encourages businesses to shift toward value-added coal products. Number three, higher royalty costs may reduce Indonesia's competitiveness in global markets. Increased royalty rates can make Indonesia coal more expensive compared to competitors like Australia and India. This may reduce coal exports and affect global market positioning. There is an impact on the government. It is increased government revenue. The progressive royalty system generates more income when global coal price rise, contributing to national economy stability, and promotes downstream industries by offering royalty incentives. The policy aims to shift Indonesia away from raw coal exports and encourage local industry development. So the progressive royal system helps increase the government revenue and develop downstream industries, but it also raises financial pressure on coal producers. Company must adapt by investing in coal processing technologies to benefit from tax incentives while maintaining profitability. Now, for the next policy, we have government regulation peraturan pemerintah number 8 year 2025 about foreign exchange earning for natural resources, DHA SDA, with mandates that coal exporters must deposit 100% of their foreign exchange export earnings of natural resources in a special account at a national bank for 12 months. This policy designed to strengthen Indonesia's foreign exchange reserve and maintain currency stability. There are three key aspects of this policy. Number one is to aims to increase the country's foreign exchange reserve by requiring exporters to store their foreign exchange earning in domestic bank. The government aims to stabilize the rupiah exchange rates and improve national liquidity. Number two, it is required 100% of export proceeds to be deposited in national banks for 12 months. Coal exporters cannot immediately use their foreign exchange earning for operational needs, which may cause cash flow constraints. And then this will be effective on March 1st, 2025. The policy will take effect starting in March 2025, giving businesses time to adjust their financial planning and exports strategies. There are impacts on coal producers. Number one is the cash flow pressure. Companies may face liquidity issue as they are unable to access exports earnings immediately, affecting their ability to pay debts, invest, or expand operations. Potential reduction in exports due to liquidity issues. Limited access to foreign exchange may cause delay interaction with international buyers, potentially reducing export volumes. And then the last is increase in operational costs. Companies will have to find alternative financial sources to cover operational expenses due to the restriction on using their foreign exchange reserve. The uncertainty in implementation is producers are still waiting for further regulatory details, especially regarding how much of the foreign exchange earning funds can be converted into rupiah, and whether there will be exceptions or flexibility and in certain cases. So the foreign exchange earnings policy aims to strengthen Indonesia's foreign exchange reserve, but it also poses challenges for coal exporters due to restricted cash flow and increased operational costs. Companies must prepare by adjusting financial strategies and exploring alternative liquidity options. Then we will discuss in the section 3 the finance and investment landscape. These slides highlight the cost structure and profitability factors that influence the financial performance of coal companies in Indonesia. The first cost structure of the coal industry. The coal production involves multiple cost components which impact the overall profitability of mining companies. There is operating costs that include exploration, mining, transportation, processing expenses, and then the labor cost that includes wages, benefits, and training costs for workers. It also accounts for safety and health measures, which are mandatory in mining operations. And then the number 3 is royalty, fees, and tax. Company must pay royalties to the government, which vary based on reference coal price, HPA, and caloric value. High royalties reduce profit margin, especially during price fluctuation. And then the last is environmental and reclamation costs. Mining companies are required to rehabilitate land after coal extraction. Environmental compliance costs such as emission control and water conservation are also significant. And then we move to the profitability in the coal industry. Coal profitability is highly dependent on the market condition and government regulation. Net profit margin for the top producers varies. Large coal producers have a net profit margin ranging from 15 to 25%. Efficient operation and economies of scale help maximize profitability. And then it also high dependent on global coal prices. Coal prices fluctuate due to global supply-demand dynamics, energy transition policies, and geopolitical factors. When coal prices rise, profits increase, but during downturn, smaller producers struggle to remain competitive. So the coal industry's financial performance is influenced by cost structures, tax policies, and global market trends. These slides explain how the reference coal price or harga batubara acuan or HBA influences export revenues, pricing strategies, and business adaptation in the coal industry. This graph shows fluctuation in the coal benchmark price HBA from January 2024 to March 2025 for types of reference coal price based on its quality. Okay, so the reference coal price is as a pricing benchmark. The HBA sets monthly by the Ministry of ESDM. It is based on global coal indices, determining coal prices for both export and domestic markets. Now, number 2, impact on export revenue. Higher HPA will lead to increased export revenue and higher profits for coal producers, while the lower HPA will result in reduced selling prices and lower profit margins, making it difficult for companies to sustain operation. Number 3, sales strategy adjustment. Okay, there are three strategy. Number 1 is fixed contracts. Companies may lock in fixed price contract to hedge against price fluctuation. And then number 2 is floating contracts. Some companies choose floating prices to take advantage of potential price increases. And then number 3, strategic pricing is essential due to the volatility of coal prices in the global market. And number 4, the last, business strategy and adaptation. Diversity export markets. Companies should seek alternative buyers in different regions to reduce dependence on specific countries, optimize costs, efficient logistics, productions, and mining operations help maximize profit margins. Balance domestic and export sales. A strategic mix between domestic and export sales help manage risk and maintain stability in revenue. So, the reference coal price (HPA) plays a critical role in determining coal price, affecting profitability, export strategies, and financial stability. To remain competitive, companies must manage pricing strategies, optimize costs, and balance domestic and international sales. Now we move to the section 4, the microeconomics review of coal market. This slide provides an analysis of coal market structure in Indonesia, highlighting key or major players, market share distributions, and industry concentration. The table shows market share of the 10 biggest coal producers in Indonesia based on its annual production. We move to market concentration analysis. We have two concentration ratio. Number 1, concentration ratio of top 6 companies is 41.7% of the market. So the 6 largest companies control around 41.7% of total coal production. And then number 2, concentration ratio of top 10 companies is 48%. So the top 10 coal producers contribute nearly half of Indonesia's total production, indicating that it is a competitive but unconcentrated market. With the Herfindahl-Hirsham index, HSI index is around 327. So because this is below 500, the low HSI value suggests a loosely oligopoly or unconcentrated oligopoly, meaning no single company has excessive market control, and shows that market is competitive. So the market structure for the coal industry in Indonesia is loose or unconcentrated oligopoly. The Indonesia coal industry operates a loose or unconcentrated oligopoly where a few major players hold a moderate market share, but competition remains relatively open. Unlike a monopoly or tight oligopoly, smaller and mid-sized companies still play a role in the industry. And then we have key players in the market. There are top 5 coal producers in Indonesia: Bumi Resources, Adaro, and then Dian Swastika Sentosa, Bayan Resources, PT Bukit Asam, and Indica Energy. So Indonesia's coal market is dominated by a few large companies but remains competitive, while major player benefits from economies of scale and market influence, smaller companies continue to operate due to high demand and diverse market dynamics. This slide outlines 3 key strategies coal companies can use to remain competitive in the industry amid changing market dynamics and regulatory changes. Number 1, operational efficiency and economic of scale. Reducing production costs through automation, improved logistics, and optimized mining operation helps companies remain competitive. And then larger coal producers benefit from economic of sales, allowing them to lower per unit cost and maximize profitability. Companies should invest in energy efficient equipment and smart mining technology to improve productivity. Then number 2, diversification and downstreaming. Diversification into alternative energy sources such as renewable energy investment, carbon capture, and then coal to gas technology help companies to reduce reliance on raw coal exports. And also downstream processing such as coal gasification and liquefaction allows companies to add value, making their product more competitive and less dependent on fluctuating coal prices. Investing in new energy solutions can help companies adapt to global energy transition while maintaining revenue. And then the last, securing long-term contract and export strategy. Companies should prioritize long-term contracts with key buyers to ensure stable demand and reduce price volatility risk. And then expanding into new export market can help reduce dependency on China and India. And a strong export strategy involves leveraging favorable trade agreement and ensuring compliance with international sustainability standards. So, to remain competitive in the coal industry, companies must focus on cost efficiency, downstream investment, and securing stable long-term contracts. These strategies will help businesses adapt to market fluctuation while positioning themselves for long-term sustainability. Now we move to the final section, recommendation and conclusion. This is the strategic recommendation for improving sustainability, efficiency, and environmental compliance of Indonesia's coal industry. This recommendation focuses on 3 key areas: renewable energy investment, operational efficiency, and environmental regulations. Number 1, shift towards renewable energy investment. We can invest in renewable energy such as solar farm, wind power, and hydroelectric plant to reduce reliance on coal. And then we recommend to utilize coal gasification and carbon capture to create cleaner energy solution from coal. And then government should support with subsidies and financing, and also tax incentive to encourage energy transition. And the last is develop a public-private partnership to drive investment and innovation in renewable energy infrastructure. Number 2 is to improve the operational efficiency. We have 3 recommendations here. Number 1, cost reduction and productivity improvement should be a top priority to maintain competitiveness. And then implement automation and smart mining technology to enhance efficiency and safety in mining operations. And also upgrade to energy efficient equipment to reduce energy consumption and operational cost. And then recommendation number 3 is compliance with environmental regulations. We recommend to invest in reforestation, water conservation, and emission control technologies to minimize environmental impact. and then conduct regular environmental audits to ensure compliance with regulation and improve corporate sustainability practices. And then enhance corporate reputation by adhering to strict environmental standards, which can help attract inventors and maintain market credibility. And then the last is government incentives should be provided to encourage companies that adopt eco-friendly practices and invest in green technologies. So, to ensure long-term sustainability, the coal industry must transition toward cleaner energy sources, optimize operation, and comply with the environmental standards. Collaboration between the government and the private sector will be essential in achieving these goals. And then the last is to summarize and conclude the key takeaways from this discussion on the Indonesia's coal industry. The number one is we have three conclusions here. The number one is Indonesia's coal industry is facing regulatory and financial challenges. The industry is undergoing major regulatory changes such as progressive royalty rates, domestic market obligation, and then foreign exchange regulation. The financial pressure include rising operational costs, environmental compliance costs, and fluctuating global coal prices. These challenges require companies to be more adaptive and strategic in their approach to remain profitable. And then conclusion number two is companies must adapt to true efficiency, diversification, and green energy. Operational efficiency is essential to reduce costs and improve productivity. The diversification into downstream processing, renewable energy investment, and alternative markets will help companies remain competitive. Green energy also initiatives such as coal gasification, carbon capture, and renewable energy projects can ensure long-term viability while aligning with the global energy transition trend. And then the last is the strategic planning is essential for long-term sustainability. Companies must develop long-term strategies that balance economic profitability with environmental and regulatory compliance. And then collaboration between government is needed and private sector is needed to support innovation, infrastructure investment, and sustainable industry practices. Risk management and market adaptation will be key to maintain competitiveness in the global coal industry. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention. As we have discussed, the coal industry remains a key pillar of Indonesia's economy, but it must adapt to changing global energy trend. Balancing sustainability, profitability, and government policies will be crucial for the future of this sector. Once again, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.